Hello there, this is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? So, it suddenly occurred to me I've been doing this channel for like a year and a half, or something like that. And because of one of my videos from like a year ago, doing really well all of a sudden, the channel's grown quite quickly. And it suddenly occurred to me that maybe some of you might be interested in knowing a little bit more about me. I feel kind of uncomfortable. I prefer talking about random countries. I don't really like talking about myself that much. But yeah, I thought that you might appreciate a video just explaining who I am, where I come from, and doing it as ever in an ASMR style, looking at a map. So yeah, that's what today's video is going to be about. As at the time of recording at least, I'm just shy of 10,000 subscribers, which is unthinkable because literally had like 5,000 3 weeks ago. So hello and welcome to all of the new subscribers, and obviously a massive hello to everyone who's been subscribed, particularly those who have been with me from the start when I did my original channel 5 years ago, and they've come over from there. So I suppose that's part of what I'll be talking about today, my YouTube journey and my channel, but we're going to do it in a very sort of niche style, so on brand for this channel, looking at maps of the world. So where do I start? Well, Wales is probably where I think I'll start. So in case you're not sure, Wales is in the United Kingdom, which is in Europe, and it's just there. So we've got Ireland just across the sea, and our only land neighbours are England. So yeah, we in Wales, I've done loads of videos on Wales and Welsh culture and whatnot. So we're a country within a country. And I was brought up in the south in a place called Swansea. Swansea is the second largest city after the capital, which is Cardiff. Cardiff is really nice. Some of you, if you love Doctor Who is filmed in Cardiff and the surrounding area. And if you've watched football, because some of you seem to like the football soccer channel that I do, the Cardiff City Stadium is our national stadium for football and or soccer if you prefer. Yeah, so that is in Cardiff. Cardiff is just down the road from where I grew up. Probably say this is the M4, one of the major motorways in the UK. It goes all the way to London. And Swansea is one of the last stops before it becomes the A48. So it goes past Swansea. Now, I'm one of those boring people that actually grew up in Swansea, spent my whole life there, and even went to university in Swansea. So they've got a new fancy campus for the university now, but I went to the old one. And the thing about Swansea University, which is quite sort of very attractive and nice, is that it is right on the seaside, like literally on the coast. Some nice, you don't get to study in this bit, this is like the nice bit. That's the new buildings, that's not anywhere near us. But yeah, literally the university is just there, and then you've got this beach. Now you're thinking, wow, that's amazing. But if I haven't said it once, I probably said it a million times, that Swansea is always raining in Wales, and it's always raining in Swansea. Cardiff has just taken over Swansea, I think, as being the rainiest city in the UK, maybe even in Europe. So Abertawe is the Welsh word for Swansea. Literally, Aber is the mouth of a river, the estuary, and the river itself is called the Tawe. So it's the mouth of the river Tawe. And because this word is an old Celtic word, Welsh word, anywhere with Aber would have spoken Welsh at some point. So even Aberdeen in Scotland was a Welsh-speaking region at one point, and that's why it's got the word Aber. So I assume the river is the River Dean. Studying hard. So yeah, that is my university. I didn't go abroad or go very far away for university, unfortunately. It was a bit boring. And for those that aren't sure or have never come across me saying this, my degree is in Hispanic studies, so nothing to do with geography at all. So yeah, my degree is Spanish, and I majored in Spanish and Portuguese. I did a minor in Russian, and I did extra classes in Arabic, and I also did evening classes in Chinese and Japanese, and I'd already done French, and I'm a fluent Welsh speaker. I'm second language Welsh, I'm not first language, but English is my first language. Which, you might be thinking, why is he pointing that out? But in Wales, at least 33% of the population speaks Welsh as their first language. Maybe I made that number up, but it's less than 50%, but it's a considerable number. So this is Wales, and yeah, so I grew up in Swansea and I went to university there. And then after university I became a Spanish teacher, and I taught in a place called Bridgend, which is halfway between Cardiff and Swansea. It's quite a nice place, nothing particularly amazing. And then after 5 years of teaching Spanish there, I decided to move over to this area of the world, and I taught Spanish in a school there. And then I decided that teaching was like the worst thing in the world. And don't get me wrong, there are loads of really good things about it, but the workload and working over your holidays and working over weekends and working late into the evening was just ridiculous. After 10 years I left, and I've got an office job which uses my languages, so I speak if someone pushed me to say which ones do I speak fluently, then there's no distinction of fluency, so I can kind of make up the rules as I want to. But maybe I would say that I'm fluent, at least in a conversation. I can absolutely have a conversation with very few problems, and listen to music and read maybe a simple book in English, Welsh, Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, Russian, Swedish, and I'm sort of getting there in Dutch and German. I can understand a lot of written Danish and Norwegian, and my Korean, Mandarin. My Mandarin's very good actually, Mandarin Chinese. My Korean's not bad, my Arabic's okay, my Turkish is okay, and lots of other things in between. I've studied Polish for a while, I've studied Hebrew for a while, I've studied Ukrainian for a while, so yeah, lots of little languages in between as well. I've studied a little bit of Romanian as well, lovely language. Yeah, so I love languages, and that sort of went hand in hand with my love of football or soccer to all my US subscribers. And through that then came a love of, exploring the world, seeing both in terms of languages, or where do they speak that language, or what language do they speak in that country. And then that went hand in hand with the football side of things, and that's why my passions are sort of maps, football, and languages. And if you didn't know before, I think some of you are subscribed to all of my channels, but I do have 12 currently ASMR channels, some in Spanish, some in Italian, some in Swedish, Dutch, German, Portuguese, Arabic, Turkish, what else, Russian. So you should go and check those out if you speak any of those languages as well. And then I just want to point out that I did live in the southern part of Spain for a year during my degree in a place called Murcia. Beautiful area of the world, just inland, not far from the coast, and very dry and humid. Not humid, in fact, just very dry, sort of in the middle of a desert, and really nice. I loved it. And yes, I lived in, but the only 3 places I've lived in my life are Spain, England, and Wales. I've returned to Wales nowadays, but I'm not telling you where I live. And yeah, so but I travel pre-COVID. I haven't travelled that much. I've only been around the UK since COVID happened, but prior to that, I've been so many times to Europe. Love The Hague in the Netherlands. Been there. Where are you, Hague? You're around here somewhere. The Hague. Just next to Amsterdam in the Netherlands, like a bunch of times. Love it. Then Germany. I've been to Cologne so many times. Love Germany. I've been as well to Mainz. And I've been to Berlin twice. Loved Berlin. And I've been to Bavaria and especially Munich like 3 times, I think. So yeah, I'm very fond of Germany in general. In terms of Paris, I used to teach French, so I've been on like a billion Paris French trips. I've never been on holiday in France though. But the very final trip that I did like a week before I finished teaching was in this area. We were in Saint-Malo. And then we went round to see the Bayeux tapestry there in Bayeux. So that was my other experience of being near Toulon. In France, I kind of didn't need to go on holiday because I would just end up going at least once a year with a school trip. In Italy, I've been to Rome once, and I've been to Lucca a second time, which is just here next to Pisa where the Leaning Tower is, so I got a picture of the Leaning Tower. I did a video a little while back talking about my backpacking trip around Europe, so I go into much more detail, so have a little look for that video. Maybe I'll remember to put a link to it at the end of this. Apart from living in Spain, I've been there so many times on holiday. Bilbao I've been to Barcelona a bunch of times, Madrid a couple of times as well. As part of my degree, being Spanish and Portuguese, I did spend a summer in Lisbon, 1 year. That was lovely. I've been to the capital of Slovenia, which is... Why didn't it come up? Maribor is not the capital. Why is that the largest one? Ljubljana, sorry, being idiot. Ljubljana, I've been there. It's absolutely wonderful. Loved it. I've been to the Czech Republic. And I've never been to Austria or Switzerland, curiously. Slovakia, go up a little bit north. Been to Prague once, that was lovely. Very nice. I can say that I've seen St. Wenceslas Square with Chas the Nutcracker clock. And then Southern Europe. I've never been to Turkey, but I've been to Rhodes, which I think is this one. Yeah, Rhodes, Rhodos, just next to Marmaris. And the furthest east I've been is probably, weirdly, Stockholm. I haven't been to any of these countries yet. And I've been to Stockholm once, and I went to Malmö, which is just down there. Been to Copenhagen as well in Denmark. Never been to Norway, unfortunately. And I've been to Finland twice, Helsinki, but just in the airport when I was travelling to China. We stopped off. We flew with a carrier from Finland, Finnair, So technically I say that I've been in Helsinki, but unfortunately I haven't been to see the city. And then further afield, I've been to the States twice as a kid. I went to Florida. Haven't been anywhere else in the States, unfortunately. Never been to Africa. I flew via Qatar, which is there. So I landed in Qatar for a couple of hours. Same as Finland, though I can't say that I've been outside the airport. And we were flying to New Zealand. So in New Zealand I've been to Auckland and to a place that's Queenstown down south. So I spent a couple of days there, Haven't been to Oz yet, but I will go. It was really shocking. Like, I've talked about this in a previous video, but when we booked the trip, I was like, oh, you know, while we're there, we should like pop to Sydney for a couple of hours. Like, because in European terms, if I'm in the Netherlands, I can easily go, oh, I'll just go to Germany tomorrow on a trip, or Belgium, or France, and it'll be like a couple of hours in the train, done, you know, no problem. And then I realised it was like a 4 or 5 hour flight or something ridiculous. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, it's a long way. And then I've done a video, I'm doing some videos about Asia. I've been to Tokyo in Japan. I've been to South Korea, Seoul, a bunch of times. Seoul is at the top there, and I've been to Busan once. And in terms of China, I used to teach Mandarin Chinese, and I got to go to Beijing twice. And one time I went, where are you? Dalian, where's Dalian? Harbin. It's not that far north. Sorry. Yeah, I went to Dalian once as well. And I've also been to Taiwan. I went to Taipei a couple of times, and I've been to Hong Kong once, and it was lovely. Really nice. And also, when we flew once, we had to stop in Bangkok for a change for a couple of hours when we were flying to Taiwan. So again, technically I can say I've stepped on Thai soil, but didn't get to leave the airport. So if you want to recommend me somewhere nice to go that I haven't been yet, then you know where I've been. Places I would like to visit. I'm not a beachy person, so I like cities, and if it was like no restrictions, can go wherever you'd like to go, then I would say places I'd like to go to Kiev and Moscow. I'd like to go to Astana in Kazakhstan. I would like to go to Oz. I'd like to see Sydney. My mother has actually been to Sydney and she loved it. And I've never been to Canada. So I'd like to literally go practically anywhere in Canada, but probably like Toronto. Oh no, actually Vancouver. I think Vancouver. And in the States, I haven't ever been to New York or to anywhere in California, so I'd like to go somewhere there. That would be nice. Or Seattle. And I'd love to go to Mexico City, because I did lots of the history of Mexico in my degree in Spanish. And then I'd like to go to Buenos Aires in Argentina and Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. That would be nice. Okay, I hope that was a weirdly interesting video, or relaxing. Tell me where you've been in the world if you're a bit of a traveller, and make me jealous. And I forgot to say the one place I forgot to say. I have actually been to Budapest in Hungary. the sea stepping. I forgot about that for some reason. But yeah, drop me a comment, tell me where you've been, and where you think I should go next on my travels. And yeah, check out my other channels as well, subscribe to those. Thank you so much to all my patrons. If you want to join me on Patreon and fund the channel and get to speak to me directly, then why don't you do that, and I'll put the info in the box below. Like the video, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys really soon, okay?